By using one-sided limits, determine whether each limit exists. Illustrate your results geometrically by sketching the graph of the function. So we have limits with absolute functions here, and we'll try to figure out how to define and get the limit in this case. So first let's understand what is absolute function, right? So absolute x is defined as equals to, it is equals to x if x is greater than equal to 0, and it is equals to minus of x if x is less than 0. So that is the basic definition of absolute x. Now when we say that limit of this function approaches x approaches 0, when we are trying to find out limit of this function as x is approaching 0, so we are considering actually this junction. So we can approach 0 from left side or from right side, correct? So let me make two columns here. So one, we have x is greater than equal to 0, and the other one where x is less than 0, correct? So the idea of making these two columns here is that we are finding limit of this function as x approaches 0 from left side and from right side, correct? So we can write this as limit x approaches 0 from left side, like minus, right? This gives you limit of the function approaching from left side, minus as a superscript of x over absolute x. Now, if we are on the left side of 0, then absolute x is actually equals to minus x, correct? So this could be written as limit of x approaches 0 from minus side. In that case, it is x over minus x, correct? Now, x over minus x is minus 1. So this is equal to minus 1. On the other hand, let's do it once again for limit x approaching 0 from the right side, that means plus. If you are approaching from the right side, x is greater than 0, right? Therefore, absolute x is plus x. So we can write limit x over absolute x is actually equals to limit of function for x approaching from right side is x over x, which is equals to 1. Do you see that? Now since these two limits are different, when we are approaching from left side and when we are approaching from right side, we do not get the same result, right? So therefore, since limit as x approaches from negative side for x over absolute x is not equal to limit when x approaches 0 from positive side for x of absolute x, we say that the limit does not exist. Correct? So limit does not exist since while approaching from left side and right side, we do not approach the same value. What we get is minus 1 from left side and plus 1 for right side. It's kind of like this. If you draw this function here, then what you get here is that if you're approaching the function from the left side, you get to the value which is minus 1. So there's a hole here, right? And if you're approaching from plus side, then you get plus 1. Right? So that is the solution. This is our function absolute x over absolute x, right? Where this is x-axis and this is y equals to, or f of x equals to x over absolute x. So you can clearly see from this graph that the limit does not exist for this given function since limit while we approach from left side is minus 1 and when we approach from the right side is plus 1. These two limits are not same, they're different, and therefore limit does not exist. Thank you.